Radio cigar.
Before there were cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio cigars.
Radio cigar. Radio cigar. Radio cigar.
All right, and we are live. We are live. Shout out to Radio Cigars. And let's start this show.
I'm sending a text for her to bring some down now.
That's what's up. Got the Blue Pillar on the show again. I want to welcome back to the platform, Brother Blue Pill. Brother Blue Pill, welcome back, my brother.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. It's always an honor to be on the platform. And this one is going to be epic. So I definitely, I honor the invite, and I will do my best, to show that I honor it rather than say that I honor it.
Blue, there's a lot going on, my brother. Especially, I haven't done a show with you since the Epstein drop, but I mean a lot going on. Wow.
Yes.
Not to say nothing we haven't heard before, but needless to say, seeing people, the shit I'm hearing is just wow.
It's a consolidation of a confirmation of a conversation that we had in this community from day one. And when we brought it forward, it was a consternation because the people weren't ready for it yet. So once again, we see ourselves in this community as leaders by way of those who are willing to till the soil. You can till the soil. Sometimes that's the job left for people to do at night. It's under the cover of the moon. You don't get the glory for that. The person that shows up at the farmer's market once the produce is harvest, they get all the light. They get, you know what I'm saying? But the people that's tilling the soil and the people that's doing the maintenance work to actually turn the soil over to prepare it for fertilization, those people really get acknowledgement. You have to have a love for the work that you do. Thank you, baby. And this is a community that by far has showed and proved time after time that when the labor is love, you feel me? And you apply a laborious approach towards the love for your people, which ultimately is the love for yourself, magical things happen.
Oh yeah. I know Blue. You got Blue.
I did a sermon yesterday, and it came by way of a download. And I always tell you, you are one of the heroes in my life because we have conversations and you push me to think and go a little bit deeper. So the download came upon me rising yesterday morning, preparing for my ministry, but it was my first invite to speak in the church and do a farmer's market. So I got to do both of them. And the download said, young man, the difference between soil and soul is interchangeable vowels, you and I. So,
That's a very interesting.
Soil and soul are separated by one interchangeable vowel. You and I are connected by the soil under our feet, the pulse of the earth that speaks to your frequency, that reminds you of the earthbound obligations to what our roots are. The UI or user interface down here on earth is soil, which allows the user to interface with creator by way of his co-created food that spring forth out of the soil, reaching its arms to the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Food is what unites you and I, sustains you and I, and ultimately reminds me, you as well as I, came from the soil, and to the soil we shall return.
Mm.
I am you once I realized that we all derive from the source, the essence of which soul is an indestructible force, component that can neither be created nor destroyed. I and you may have different earthly coordinates as God's soil is spread and evenly distributed across the vast landscape. Your cosmic coordinates is what unites us down here and brings us together as one unit, a soul family. And Sunday soul food is what brought us to the table because you can always find family around food.
Mm-hmm.
So yes,
Excellent.
soul, soil are one and the same.
You know, it's very interesting you say that. I don't know who I heard the other day, because I was investigating the whole, spirit and vapor and smoke and all of that, and somebody said that some of the souls in our ancestors go to live in the soil. And for you to come here and say that, because they was talking about the different places, because they was like, it's easy for the ancestors to respond with
You
vapor.
hit your mic.
Oh, check. Can you hear me?
You're back.
You hear me? Yeah, but
Yeah,
they just had said that. So it's so interesting. That's like a whole show within itself. And I'm sure we're gonna do something on that. I wanna, before we get into the show, as people fill in the room, I just want to make one announcement and be a little responsible. I know a lot of y'all see me drink water while I'm on the show. I've been seeing a lot of videos with independent lab reports saying that y'all be seeing me drink the Mountain Valley spring water. They're saying that it has high levels of arsenic in it.
Yeah.
So I just want to alert the family to some findings. I may have they got bought out. That's what happened. They was popping. They got bought out. Once they got bought out, the new folks didn't want to give their lab reports. So somebody did an independent lab test, and the shit came back not good at all. So you will not see me drinking that anymore. Just want to alert the family, just like somebody alert me, I got to pay it forward. But I was told that this is the top water on the market right now. Icelandic glacier in a glass bottle. And Blue knows Iceland is my spot. Blue, what I told you about, that's my spot. But they said this came back. They said this came back the best. So just want to let the family know.
See,
who knows?
You're a legend. You're a legend, right? Because as I'm getting into this research about solar biology and actually building back the body, right? Pairing the remnants of melanated man, right? The one water that they said is key and essential to restoring our vitality of ourselves, especially melanin, is water that's artesian water. So water from the Icelandic region because of something called deuterium. Now I got to get to preaching, right?
Oh, come on, Blue.
Because
talk to me.
Equatorial water, unfortunately, even though we are equatorial people, equatorial water for some reason does not work more positively with us because of the access or the heaviness of the deuterium. Deuterium in your melanin almost like clogs up your vents. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, shout out to KT. You know, my brother's a legend. All of this stuff that I'm learning now, he's been talking about. And it's almost like a film has been removed from my brain because I'm just absorbing it like a sponge. But he's the one. Shout out to brother Yaki for raising the bar where we can speak and use words that are not common to our parlance. And they're still received and receptive. I remember at one point it wasn't, but the veil's been lifted.
Yeah.
So deuterium water, Icelandic water, ironically, from the opposite of where we're from, is the best water for us to repair, structure us so we can get back to making internal structured water. And we can do that through breathing. We can do that through vibrations, meditation. I got a breathing app too now.
Fire. Fire.
So yes,
Yeah.
you again. So you hit that on the top of the crown with the Icelandic water being the best water. Artesian water is what we need to be focused on, family. But the Mountain Valley has been compromised. Yes.
And family, just keep in mind, these companies get bought out. Who knows in a year or two? We don't know what company's gonna buy another company. So we just gotta stay on it. And I know it's frustrating and I know it's exhausting. Like, oh God, yo, everybody had cases of Mountain Valley. I will go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, get a big case of it. So I know it's frustrated for all of us. But yeah, they saying that high levels of arsenic, bromide. I forget all the fancy names, but yeah, you can look it up. And I think there's an app called Oasis that you could download that'll tell you about the independent
water rating.
Yeah. But I really want to get into this show, family. A lot of things going on. Super Bowl just happened yesterday, and a lot of people are talking about symbolism as they always do. This is America's biggest ritual. One thing that was interesting that I want to talk about also, I heard Michael Jackson name mentioned in the Epstein files in a manner in which I was a little surprised at with the whole Neverland rant. So we're going to talk about that. And, we see there's a lot of things going on cosmically right now. Blue Pill got a wonderful presentation for us. With that being said, Blue Pill, man, start this thing off. I know you got a presentation, my brother. I'm ready, brother. I'm ready.
Oh, yes, indeed. I got something special for the family. And I look forward to sharing it. And, this is my 16th consecutive year of successfully calling the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it is a great honor, like I said, to be able to share this. Streaming studio, black, white, gold. Yeah, all right. Okay. Just give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. I have to switch over.
Take it out. Family, hit that like button while Blue get this together. Hit that like button. That is important for the algorithm. Hit that like button. All right, family. Somebody had where's that at? Oh no. I don't know where that went. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. In the meantime, somebody said I used to do my water fast with those. Yeah, Ocean or yeah, me too. I would use that a lot when me and KT would do the water fast. So yeah, definitely. Somebody said, Rich, how do you enjoy the Geefy Tea bitter small increments daily? What the suggestion? It's up to you. It's up to you, and you gotta know what you vibe with. Because some people only have small periods of the day where they can really tap in because of the busyness of life. So I don't know how busy your life is. So if you should use it in one time period or if you should spread it out, but just use your discretion. There's no wrong answer. Just follow your intuitive feeling. But that is hands down absolutely amazing. And he will have more in stock, I think, in a week or two. All right. What else y'all doing? Okay, there, I see it coming up now. Yep. All right.
Okay, we're on the screen back. So we'll start off here, because everything that we speak about tonight is going to have a cosmic concordance, even though we are earthbound, you feel me, as above, so below. And like you said, with this game being recognized and acknowledged as the biggest show on earth, it is the religion of America. It's the religion of Americana. Because the rest of the Americas play football. They don't play football. America or the United States of America is the only centralized place where this game takes place. But to such an extent that it is religion, because if that one day is set aside for the Lord works 6 days, 144 hours, then he takes that last day off to square and cube his consciousness, and we choose to not go and pay homage to him, but we go and pay it to the pigskin football, and they already told you the ham is forbidden. So you already know that, you know, that's his own form of idol worship. It's his own coliseum. It's his own bread and circus. And people have replaced that with religion, and then the gambling component that compounds it even pulls you further into going in the opposite direction of what people traditionally as a Christian nation should be doing on a Sunday, right? Especially, you know, for a country they say that needs so much prayer. So we start in the cosmos, and we'll start where we left off at. Last time we were here, we were speaking about weather conditions and how they would negatively impact in certain areas on the planet or this particular country. And that weekend, I believe, is when things really popped off in Minnesota with these ICE protests. And we were speaking about the wave of ICE that was covering the country in terms of a weather condition. And I also was pointing out that there was a correlation in our culture with so icy getting jacked by so shiesty. So Gucci Man in a situation with Pooh Shiesty was on the parlance of the nigga net while everything else was going on in the world, right? And of course they have overlapping and over connecting factors, because Pooh Shiesty is the progenitor of the Shiesty, which is the new identity in this country of a whole nother contingency of quote unquote people that are running down in the hood and snatching people up like Shiesty's known for, right? So, you know, coinciding at the same time with our good brother, young boy, NBA, and, you know, Make America Slime Again and his master tour. And just this lean towards a whole new identity that kind of was already programmed for us in the Watchmen, and a mass country that for the most part crystallized about 6 or 5 years ago as well in this country due to you know what. So these themes, these concurrent themes that we see, mask on, mask off, right? Memphis is a location that these particular artists come from. This also was during MLK weekend when, you know, it was a 1-year anniversary of this administration coming in, the dethroning of one king to replace it with another one, the scrubbing of one history, the sanitizing of it to replace it with a whole new history in preparation for this year, this 250th anniversary in this country. You know, there's blatant attempts for them to rewrite history. At the same time, we see that there's solar activity, solar flares, even in the middle of winter. The sun is igniting, is sending solar flares and solar wind, which means information and downloads, and support is coming from our father, our nearest star, you know what I'm saying? That our source of energy, our soul planet, okay? That SOL that connects to the SOUL and you by way of your neutrinos and your muons. Those are the subatomic particles that you have on a subatomic level that are also present on the sun. So when things happen on the sun, instantaneously, you are entangled and tethered to this sun. So it happens to you as well on a subatomic level. Now the light may take longer to reach here, but you are automatically impacted, right? Just like your devices. We see that a year ago as well, almost to the day, this is nothing new for them to have skirmishes in churches and disagreeing with clergy that don't agree with their version of Christianity. There's 45,000 denominations of Christianity, and they're all precipitated on ideologies. This also was around the time that the movie Avatar was out, dealing with fire and water. And ironically, the captain or the commando from Avatar looked exactly like Bovino, and they all had the same aggressive tactics about how they were dealing with corporation versus indigenous.
Wow. Damn, Blue.
Attacks against law. So we got Pam Bondi, you know the ball.
What?
and that was prophetic because it was right before, right? We recorded it that night, and then that night they went into Venezuela, and things have never been the same in terms of them unmasking themselves, in terms of them being very forceful with this march of what? Of the ice walkers, right? The ice walkers. Okay. So we see what's taking place to the day, all the way up in Minnesota, St. Paul. Okay. I did a presentation. This was my sermon on the 25th, the day that they stormed the church in St. Paul. Church was called St. Paul. Paul is the one who built the church. That day was a day dedicated. This is the day of Paul when he transformed from Saul to Paul. Didn't even know that before I did the presentation, even though I had posted this about 2 years ago. But nonetheless, I had to go back into Saul mode this day, because this is when they was really just acting crazy about people who are propagating the name of Christ but living very unchristian. Like, what are real Christians? Please stand up. In the sickle of Saturn, right? You got to bring the sickle out. It's that time. So that was the presentation I did. And later on that day, they ran down on this situation, right? Also, in the midst of this ice advisory, we got this Scorpio, right, crossing over, okay, and doing his best interpretation of the Iceman Cometh, okay? And if people are not familiar with the Iceman Cometh, it's a play, right? But there also is a book called The Iceman Inheritance that I highly recommend that you read. That kind of tells you the entire history of Europeans, and it gives you a philosophical, somatic understanding of what someone feels like when they have to chase food every day, and they have an aggression towards the sun because it's not their friend, right? And they feel very aggressive towards nature. They don't have a great relationship with it. You get a chance to wake up in the tropics and go and pick food. You live in abundance. You live in paradise. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a whole different psychology that emerges from that. So when we zoom in and we look at St. Paul, Minnesota, we see some very interesting things. At least I do, that jump out automatically. Oh, I see Moorhead right here, but I also see that it's the Northstar state. And oh, you know, I got bars when it comes to the Northstar, right? It's right up here by Canada. It's on the border. This is a border state, okay? And it's on the Mississippi to the very north, though, all right? And it's on a lake called St. Croix, right? And it also happens to be on the 44 parallel line, okay? So I'm like, whoa, why is things always popping off in St. Paul, Minnesota, right? Because of that 44, right? And because it's the Northstar state, is dealing with the direction that the rest of the country goes in. Whatever takes place in the Northstar, that is the direction, right? We are guided by that particular star. That is our processionary equinox. And Northstar is the Polaris star, or the little bear, as I always explain with my breakdowns about Kanye, who is the doppelganger of the little bear, right? So we have it here. Minnesota, St. Paul is a metropolitan area in the upper Midwestern United States centered around the confluence of the Mississippi, Minnesota, and St. Croix rivers in the U.S. state of Minnesota. It is commonly known as the Twin Cities after the area's two largest cities, Minneapolis and St. Paul, right? So this connection that I always make with Pablo, and I find the 44s, and I find the twin connections, and I zone it back to the family and the same, you know, all of these things, these overlapping connections. When you stack things on top of one another, they get heavier and heavier. And like, if you think about string universe or string theory, the universe is a set of strings, as waves. When you compound these waves or you stack these waves like you're stacking in the studio, they get heavier and heavier. So these connections, once again, strum a stronger sound on this string theory that we are all intertangled with. You feel me? These are the ways that I'm able to make the predictions that I make when it comes to these 44s. So we see what's taking place, right? But people don't see it. They unalive dude right in front of a spot called good. So they are unaliving this concept over and over and over, ritualizing it, right? Ritualizing. And people really just, because of the symbol, we're not being taught to see symbolism for what it is. It's going over our heads, right? They say that you can't even say these words. I experienced this in Atlanta the first day of, they had a junior FIFA World Cup last summer, and I was selling water outside of the bookstore that's on Northside, and I was saying, I just go water. And bro, you can't even say that. That's so inappropriate. It was making people so nervous. They was flinching and jumping. I was like, damn, we got to change our whole language. We don't even know when we could be potentially offensive in public to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because these words, they no longer just mean one thing anymore. Right? So this was also taking place at the same time. You feel me? It was blanketing it across the country with an actual physical ice storm, right? I want to say rest in peace. I didn't get an opportunity to say rest in peace to the elder Charles Finch, and I'm not talking about this guy. And I find it ironic, I just showed a display here of some of our greatest writers, some of our, standout philosophical thinkers and teachers. They all got doppelgangers, right? Here go to Phil Valentine doppelganger. Here go to Hakeem Bey doppelganger. Here go another Hakeem Bey doppelganger. Here goes the Charles Finch doppelganger. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Peter Moon. I know about a lot of these guys because, I read the majority of these books, and he's part of some of the societies that these guys belong to. Okay, and they're writing books speaking about more science, but from the perspective of Lemurians and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? They're tapping in from different ways and what have you. Okay, again, rest in peace to Dr. Charles Finch III, one of our master teachers, author of some very beautiful, integral books that should be part of our pantheon, our library. And our elder, the sister Gladys West, the last time we did our presentation about the solar flare, I failed to mention that the solar flare, almost to the day that the solar flare hit, is when both of them transitioned, him representing a pantheon of information and speaking about our melanin, which is the interface that we need to focus on, our solar paneling, so we can properly intake these solar flares and convert this energy and this information into something useful. And also, they keep telling you that during solar storms and solar winds, it impacts what? Telecommunications. What kind of telecommunications? GPS telecommunications. So on the day that the strongest solar flare hit since 1930s or what have you, and gave a rupture to telecom, you know what I'm saying, or threatened GPS transmissions or communications, telecom communications, the sister that was responsible for founding it also made transition. I want us to remember her legacy, right? These vainglorious ancestors and elders that were so wise, so smart, I can't even put a word to it. You know what I'm saying? They called them computers. They were mathematical geniuses. No one can really account for why they knew the things that they knew other than the fact that they knew them, but they were able to provide coordinates for them to allegedly go to the moon. And that's the only reason that I will give that story a semblance of attention, is because these particular sisters are said to have had something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? For most of her life, West's abilities and achievements were not widely known, similar to other Black women doing pivotal work in science and math during the Cold War, and highlighted in the 2016 book Hidden Figures. But West received notable recognition over the past decade, including the Military Space and Missile Pioneers Hall of Fame and 2018 International Museum of the Surface Navy's Freedom of the Seas Exploration and Innovation Award in 2023. All right, she did her thing, y'all. These are some of the legends. You feel me? These are some of the legends. All right, our melanated greatness. Okay. This number keeps popping up as well, and there's a reason for it. All right. When you see this number, it's code for what it says that it is. Okay. I noticed in this particular situation, gematria wise, with these people who are prime candidates for this new version of what they consider to be high tech lynching, right? They all are resonating almost on the same frequency, And I remember seeing this during 2020 when I was running names. They're all energetically connected, they're tethered, they're entangled, right? This is a story that's repetitively telling itself over and over about a particular energy signature that they're running into and acting aggressive towards. Okay. So again, as you can see, both of these coordinates, both of them were on the 44-degree parallel. Okay. Let's keep it moving. All right, let's keep that going. Boom, boom. All right, so we find ourselves fast forward in here, right? And we're going to speak about the Super Bowl. And I want to touch on some classics, some highlights before I preference what we got this particular year. I'll just run through some of my past work. 13 years ago, I famously called the game the Kaepernick Bowl is what we call it. And this is the Super Bowl of 2013. Well, it was the season of 2012, but it was played in 2013, February 2013 in New Orleans. This is the Super Bowl when the lights went out at 13 minutes and 22 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And this is the Super Bowl that I always say was the reason that Pope Benedict abdicated and stepped down from the throne 8 days later and removed himself, and Pope Francis came in, because the narrative or the mythos of the story was the Baltimore Ravens. The Moors were facing the church. It was a replay of the Crusades. The church came by way of the San Franciscan 49ers, because they stand for the San Franciscan Friars, right? Or Pope Francis, right? Francis of Assisi in them, and they lost. So it's off with your head, and they had to restore the order. Benedict the Moor, okay, because Pope Benedict wore the lapel with the bear on it, and he comes from Coburg, Germany, Coburg Moor, or all of that spot up there where Bavaria is at. All of that is Moorish. It's ruled by Saint Maurice. Google it, right? So these are the things that were taking place, and we were calling them in real time. I ushered in the first pope, and I ushered in the last pope last year on February 10th, 2025, a day after the Super Bowl of last year. In New Orleans is where I did it, and I said the next pope was going to have something to do with New Orleans, and sure enough. But why was I able to call that? Because the 267th pope was coming in, and 200. I said it's going to have something to do with Philadelphia and New Orleans. So this pope has something to do with Philadelphia and New Orleans, because 267 is the Philly area code, ain't it? Yeah. So here, this article from 12 years ago, 50% of Americans think God determines the winner of the Super Bowl. So this is the new religion. This is 12 years ago, right? Somebody talk to the bookies to see what sort of motion and action they've been getting by people who are believers on any given Sunday. Okay? Them tithings got a whole lot lighter when the betting apps started. Okay? Yeah, so all of these are like Facebook memories from 13, 12, whatever, however many years ago when we was making these calls. And like I said, this year, this will make 16 consecutive years of making positive calls. I think my first game started with Green Bay, and I was able to call Green Bay over the Steelers because Green Bay was on the 44 parallel line. Easy. Okay? Migrants to leave. So they're running migrants out of everywhere. It's a cross migration rundown taking place globally, right? Everyone is uncomfortable with visitors, it seems. You know what I'm saying? Interestingly enough. Remember, they ran down in Venezuela on the wolf every single time. Same way in 2022 during the wolf boom. That was the AMC, GameStop situation that impacted retail traders and people to start trading in crypto. The flip side of it this year with this wolf moon, volatile market, crypto's in the toilet, which is actually a good thing if you want to go shopping because it's not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And no, Epstein didn't create it. So funded it? Possibly, yes. Created? No. But nonetheless, this particular moon represents that. Big plays for, financial, is dealing with earth resources. So oil would be very fitting, especially on a day such as Saturn that deals with the black cube. The black cube is carbon. Oil is carbon. And they did it under the moon. Okay. Again, they're being very blatant and very open about what this is about, what their intentions are, and how they are moving. You know what I'm saying? These are all modeled after what they consider to be Nazi propaganda posters of the past. These are all mimicking that iconography. You know what I'm saying? No surprises there. Okay. Nashville is furious about power outages. Can you initiate or activate Black power without having access to power? So there's certain things and certain ways that, are projected to be moves that are made to neutralize movements of people, especially moving into these months when, the movement of people mobilizing is going to be, for the most part, supported by cosmic events. So I find it very interesting, again, at the same time that they're saying Nashville is furious about power outages. Republicans say woke is to blame. What they mean by that is like, they hired it's a black city and they hired, Black people to be in charge of stuff and stuff don't work because Black people got jobs. You know what I'm saying? Ironically, around the same time, they had the situation in Philadelphia, again, of all places, with Chairman Paul Birdsong of the Black Panther Party for self-defense, right? And, he was taking a particular stance where ICE saying, he want that work. You feel me? And he wasn't with nothing that they was talking about. And, I think that y'all are familiar with what happened with that. And they put down the flag or the badge of the Panthers, and now they're calling themselves Lions, which is appropriate in the month of February because the word lion is the number 216 in Hebrew, in Gematria. And ironically, that's the day, February 16th, 2018 is the day the Black Panther came out. And it's the day that Nipsey dropped Marathon, Victory Lap, right? 216, 6 times 6 times 6 is 216. 216 is one of them numbers. Shout out to A.A. Rashid. Let's see. Keep this move. Okay. Sinners, right? A very appropriate backdrop to where we see things are at this year. The fangs are out. You know what I'm saying? You definitely see that this is more than a movie. It's a documentary. You're amongst vampires. Don't get stuck in the entertainment aspect of this and miss the reality play. You know what I'm saying? People are caught up and enthralled in the actual somatics of it, and that what is really telling you about what's really going on right now in the real world. You feel me? They're more interested in whether these dudes are gonna get Oscars or not than getting themselves garlic and silver bullets for real-time vampires that, now that you have uprooted their nests, why hide the fangs? They are normalizing activity, not pushing up against it. So this is the 26th, right? 2026 is the year of the cube, the cosmic cube. The name of God is a 4-letter word, right? The tetragrammaton, and it equals the number 26. As the Kabbalah god A.A. Rashid has often said, 26 is the only number that exists between a square and a cube. Okay, that's what makes it a very special and specified number. Like the number 2 is the only number in the universe that you can, 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. There's no other number that can do that, but you can arrive to its multiplier in different ways of addition and multiplication, right? But 26 exists between 5 times 2, which is a square, that's 25, and 3 times 9, which is, a cube and a square. The square is the 3 times 9, which is the 27. So this cosmic cube, this opening of this cube, you know what I'm saying? The opening of the cube and the unveiling of man, the temple of God that is within. This is the period of time that we are now in. We are enraptured in a rapturous period. And not saying it's the end of the world. I'm saying that this is the unveiling of man coming into a new being, a new self, right? And this is the year that it gets done. Okay, as you can see, this is where the 26 gets added up from. Okay, yeah, God is a 44 resonator as well. Yeah, him too. Okay, this is from 27. It's a YouTube that has a lot of the longer form breakdown of what I'm getting into about these particular 4s and 44s and cubes and how it plays into the Super Bowl. You can go and check that out on YouTube. All right. And these are some of the primary main doppelgangers in the 44 pantheon, them being famously married on April 4th. Okay. So here we go with this particular game. It was a battle of 44s. I saw when Seattle activated their 44. Okay. Chaz Surratt, he was activated. They didn't know whether they was going to activate him or not. They activated the 44s, right? 44s were very heavy in their season. Shout out to my brother Carlo with, all of the insight. He called all of the games. And we had already made our picks early in the season. We knew that the Seattle had that 44 energy on them. You know what I'm saying? The owner or the person who created the Seattle Seahawks is Paul Allen, the partner of Bill Gates, right, and a founder of Microsoft, which was founded on April 4th, 1975, because as you can see, they dedicated to creating it into a cube within a cube within a cube, okay, a tesseract. And the world is locked into the box of the Microsoft, to the degree that homie went and got him some box that was X'd out and
Oh man, that's cold-blooded, Blue.
and tried to pass the virus on to the world like
Crazy.
they do with the computer.
Crazy.
Right? Also decided to say this was going to be my pick because of the heavy 44 energy that was emanating with this particular team. I remember Brian, the Bosworth, famously sued the NFL in 1987 to wear his college number 40. So they're going for it. You know what I'm saying? For the Seattle Seahawks, arguing it was his trademark and essential for his brand, but he lost the legal battle and was forced to wear number 55, though he famously painted 44s on his shoes as a protest until the league later changed rules to allow linebackers to wear 40s. Right? So it's some deep history here. And then your man comes back into the picture again at the right time as he's supposed to. Why? Because the Northstar state is active. So coincidentally at the same time when the Polaris or the North Stars activated, who they waiting on? That's Pablo, the person who started all of this. Started with the St. Pablo tour at the stop in Sacramento, ironically around where this game was at when he had his moment in the Matrix and they snatched him off stage because he was coming for who? Jay-Z and Beyonce. And he was saying what? Everything that's being said now. And that's when they hit him with the elephant juice. And by December of 2015, he was with Trump, right? And nobody puts this together that on June 15th, Trump comes down the escalator, the gold escalator, and makes his announcement. On June 16th, Dylan Roof goes into church in South Carolina, catches those, angels. There's a connection and a correlation to that. So this doppelganger, this pole star, this Polaris, this North Star has such a vital role to play in this from every level, from activating hip hop to activating activists. You know what I'm saying? There will be no Charlie Kirk without Kanye. There will be no Candace without Kanye. He put them in the game, they said, with a tweet that he sent out in 2017. That's when the money came in for them, because they had to snatch them up because of the influence that he had just he put the sauce on them. All the way where it's rippling up into this particular event. Okay. Where I'm like, don't these dudes work with Aiden Ross? Like, are they going that road? Or is this really the illest psyops ever? Ever. Okay. Shout out to the God bodies. I know there's a reason I had this in here. It collapsing, guru cultures collapsing, political figures as leaders are collapsing. The world is shifting towards self-leadership, and the highest spiritual leader is life itself. So it's like almost like what I'm looking at, I don't see, like, the world is shifting to a new paradigm. And I think that it's best to look at it like the earth is composting itself. I don't think it's going to be a quote unquote destruction. I think that things are falling by the wayside and things are dissolving like sandcastles. And I think that when you shift your energy and your focus, other things are going to wither. Like, it don't have the sun, it don't got the light, it don't got the water, the moisture, the wave no more. You feel me? And what you don't pay attention to, it collapse. It don't even exist, right? And this whole aspect to now moving to this concept of moving quantum, thinking quantum, right? Activating your God self to understand that God exists across all wave spectrums, past, present, and the future all coexist. If you understand this nature of qua, that's why aqua is water, because this quantum aspect, right? It's the same thing, because the water is what holds the memory. But you got to learn how to hack that for your own benefit to collapse the wave, right? Kwa, West African languages belonging to the Nigerian Congo language family, including Ewe. And then they say that these are some of the first languages, at least that they can detect, right? This whole concept of Kwa, right? Quanta means small. It's the etymological root of the word quantum. Oh, yeah. Remember this cover?
Oh man, I ain't see that in a minute. Wow.
Yeah, I think that I had spoke earlier of, like, these are my family. This is my father's side of the family. These are the Marlins. These are the family that I know that are rooted here, like in the up northern part, Shinnecock, right? The ones that's like the indigenous folks that was up by Connecticut that made first contact with these people when they came here. So when we went and did our lecture in New England in 2017, right? Again, this ties into the game because New England is the very first place that I did my When in Rome lecture. And I did it specifically in New England because I know the connections to, quote unquote, this Romanistic ideological framework that's put in place by Harvard, MIT, challenging the intellectualism. Sometimes you just have to go on the grid and speak the truth. When we went and did this lecture, famously, we created something called a snowpocalypse in Boston. Anybody in Boston will account for this, that we came into the lecture, they didn't even have a snow forecast out. It started snowing the day of this lecture, and it did not stop until March. You know what I'm saying? And that was the snowpocalypse. You see the snow, and my spiritual father, if you would say, in my initiated system is Obatala. And Obatala is about snow and mountaintops. And those are places that, when I go there, I activate. So I wanted to speak about our good brother, but I would rather flesh that conversation out because I don't have all of my slides together that I really wanted to zone in with the good brother. I wanted to speak about his origin points in Cincinnati in particular. I'll touch on this, that, we don't really acknowledge these places. Sometimes we just hear locations on the map and we just, Cincinnati, that's up there. But what is Cincinnati central to? In the ancient America, Cincinnati was the land of the giants. Cincinnati in the Romanistic capitalistic structure of what this system represents. Cincinnati represents Rome to them. So this is New Roma, and Cincinnati is Seven Hills. So that is a headquarters of theirs. You understand? Any place that they call their Queen City in the city of Seven Hills, that's Rome. Okay. So Cincinnati was central to the Americas because of its ability for greenery. It was like the breadbasket of America because of the ability for the indigenous people. They were able to ionize the atmosphere. It always stayed wet. It rained a lot there. So anyone who has been to Ohio or passed through Ohio can speak to you about how plush, green, beautiful it is. It's just vibrant. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Nobleland Pool and those of us that went up to Serpent Mound in 2010 and did ceremony up in Ohio. And shout out to my Columbus family, my Dayton family. All right. Ohio, we need to go to visit Ohio. If you want to get into some real ancient American history, Ohio, they got it. RFK Jr. You know, I'm getting into this whole aspect of they're starting the changing of the food rules or what have you, but it's not what people think. You know what I'm saying? And they're kind of throwing a monkey wrench in there. And I'm just saying all that to say that always these lectures and these conversations are always going to come back to you, personal accountability. You know, I don't want to take you out to space. I want to make this very relative. And it's all going to come down to, you and your personal health and your body. At the end of the day, are you going to allow these people to tell you what's healthy or not? Because they're about to take you on a ride. You know, when things look to be going one way, they're going somewhere totally different. Or what if they're speaking specifically to them and their physiology and their bloodline and their people, and you're not being factored in, but you're eavesdropping on the conversation that might not have anything to do with you. So, but nonetheless, it is a new paradigm of health that is canvassing this country, and you are given permission. You're given permission to go back in your bag and, tap into whatever you feel and whatever you know is right for your genetic disposition, and eat for your blood type as well. These are some of the Schumann resonance Richters of yesterday. The energy that was on the planet. They said that the game was pretty boring, but the halftime was the most watched ever. You know what I'm saying? Somebody was doing something. And again, going back into this whole aspect of water and memory, and the Hebrew glyph for it is mean. You know what I'm saying? It's the 13th letter, right? This mycelium network that exists underneath the soil, where demarcation lines on landmass is a fictional thing because we are united along an electrical grid by way of these mycelium networks. You know what I'm saying? When they was pop locking in the Bronx, they was doing stuff in Memphis, and out west it seemed somewhat similar, and these people had never compared notes, but it was just something that's part of the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? This is another conversation that we might need to have at another time, because this just popped up recently, and with them carding individuals and a whole new situation taking place with how people have to identify themselves. There's a lot that needs to be discussed, you know what I'm saying, just to give people a heads up, right? Me and you had this discussion a few years ago about the doctrine of discovery. This narrative ties in closely to these games, these Superbowl games, as we will see momentarily, right? And it also ties into a discussion about what took place on this land and how to get remedy from it. Okay. I'm reminded again about these events that we have all participated in this community, which were some of the most paradigm shifting events, based on the information that was shared, based on, people's ability to disagree but agree and come together, and at least in these particular forums, right? I remember these times. I remember the energy around these times. And this is Kemet on trial. This is not even this debate. This debate was crazy. Neptune and Aries, okay? And I'm saying all that because this all speaks to this. There's a decision that needs to be made based on what this cosmic energy coming in is calling for, okay? Shout out to the good brother Noble Poole. He was on the show about 2 weeks ago. He did an amazing presentation on Neptune and Aries. I would suggest, rather than just read a slide, definitely go and listen to that entire show because it was totally on point. You know what I'm saying? And he laid out so much information. Okay. Yeah, we got to make God and gangster again. All right. February. Okay, here we are. We're in this month. This is a month of purifying. So we just saw the interstellar waters. Shout out to the good brother A.A. Rashid, who also was on the program and did an amazing presentation speaking about the interstellar waters. And through the earlier months of the winter, dealing with December and January, we were dealing with weather storms and ice. That's another form of water in a different structure, but it's still a water purification, right? Some people would say, well, that water wasn't purified. It brought a whole nother energy. I like the approach AA took towards it, right? Because water can be programmed as well. So let's be intentional. You feel me? Let's speak to our environment. Let's try new things. What does the month of February stand for? Okay, again, it's the month of purification. Purification's expiatory rites. Expiatory rites means like you can purify yourself by atoning for sins. You can bathe yourself of your, or you can shed yourself of the remaining skin that exists from the wood snake year. Okay, that's the expiatory rites. Okay, which is an uncertain order. Okay, these sins could be either purification by smoke or burnt offering, right? Heavy on the tobacco, heavy on the cigars or what have you, with your purification rites. But it's also purification by fire. It's also Rekashina. So February 17th, on a solar eclipse, we will have the beginning of the fire horse year. Okay? The fire horse year. This is the year to stop waiting for permission, choose freedom over fear, act on what you already know, right? Fire horse years don't support half decisions, they amplify intentions and expose stagnation. How to get most out of the fire horse here: trust your inner instinct and act on it. Release routines that drain your spirit, speak your truth even if your voice shakes. Choose progress over perfection. Move your body. Motion activates luck this year. So the magic is in the momentum. Okay. The overview, the animal, horse, fire cycle, 12-year. Last time it was here, 1966. That was the year of revolution. In China, that was the year Vietnam jumped off. That was the year they was popping off on college campuses. That was the year that civil rights unrest was at its height in this country as well. You feel me? I think that was also the year like the hippie revolution. I think that's when they was getting loose. Okay. Neptune's in Aries. I've been adamant on my post at least about speaking to the scourge of what crack cocaine represented in our community, and speaking and asking, people who have participated, let's have a day of atonement. You know what I'm saying? Just don't think that you cannot cut those cords. It still was a cosmic contract that you made, and you have to know that you are corded and tethered to that contract. So that there needs to be an expiatory rite done. There needs to be a level of atonement. And I say all this to say, I done interviewed this brother 4 or 5 times. These are not conversations that I'm hypothetically having, and I'm not haphazardly pointing fingers at melanated people to exclude the CIA. I did the research. I interviewed the brother. I read all the books. You know what I'm saying? We still need accountability on our behalf. and this is a perfect time to do it. You know what I'm saying? We got to hack our brain. Shortcutting it, taking hits of cane is not going to get you the dopamine and the serotonin hits that you're looking for. We need to stop the shortcuts, which will short circuiting us. Right? It's time to get on the cross. You feel me? And sacrifice the part of you that you need to let go of, so you can spread your wings like they did in the Budweiser commercial and turn into that Pegasus. Okay? I'm not gonna get into this. Again, some more frames of when we were decoding some of these Beyonce performances at the Super Bowl a few years back. Okay? And we were just laying it out. And we haven't missed yet. Respectfully. Shout out to Sister Myra, who is the quote of this, bar none. You know, she was the very first person that I heard giving a spiritual interpretation and giving flesh to this particular skeleton of Super Bowl decoding and making it a cosmic narrative that always spoke to our victory. Our victory. You feel me? So ex-Pope Benedict says God told him to resign during mystical experience. This was right after the quote-unquote Super Bowl in New Orleans, that spirit cooking. Okay. This is my favorite one. This is the one from 2010, right? Was it 2010, 2012? Yeah, the New York one, when number 44, Ahmad Bradshaw, they told him, he said that they told him to throw the game. He wasn't supposed to make a touchdown. He wasn't supposed to cross the threshold of the end goal. He was supposed to drop to the knee at the 1 yard line. He said something turned him around and pushed him into the end zone. And this is the show. I did a blog talk show with Noble and Pooh right before this Super Bowl. And I made the claim on that show that the game will be won by number 44 by 4 points, and it happened. And that's when my Paul the Prophet started. My status started with that 14, 15 years ago with these games. Okay. I also was waiting for a sign. I had already told the world that the Seahawks was going to win like on Friday. I just put it out there because I was already, I was hinting to it. And I was just like, let me just help some people out that really need it, because I couldn't get in my DM and answer everybody that wanted individual picks. So I just put it out there and I explained why I was going with that pick. And one of my last confirmations I was looking for came the day of or the day before. And it was dealing with a Bitcoin bank in Taiwan. They accidentally dispensed, what was it, 44 billion or million to they did something. But I always know that Bitcoin is a 44 resonator, because it was founded on the 44th week, which is October 31st, 2008 with the white paper. So whenever I see that, I also know, it gives me more and more confidence, right? I also remember, I had seen this on Facebook the morning of, and I was like, okay, I remember this hoodie. I had put these Hawkeyes up here for a reason, to remind myself. This is my Super Heru hoodie back when. So all of these things was just coming to the forefront. And this put the bow on it, the icing on the cake. Today they dropped this article in the USA Today. Okay. Seattle Super Bowl reaching. Super Bowl is surprisingly related to the Popes of Vatican City. Now, this is all I just been trying to tell people, right? And somehow they caught it. You feel me? I ain't get my credit, but nonetheless, they still ran with the narrative, and I liked how they fleshed it out. And they explained that after every Pope conclave, after every time that they elected a Pope, the Hawks win, right? Or the Seahawks, which represent what? Northwest Amexem. Seattle, which is Washington, is the northernest, westernest part. Just like the Patriots represent the northernest, easternest part, okay? So you had two extremes of the West and the East battling one another, and what? The Northwest Amexem, they won out. Those particular Hawks coming off of the sea, right, ravished these Patriots, okay, coming off the land. This reminds me of when they threw the bonnet on the Pope when he went to Canada, the northernest regions, on the day out of time of the Mayan calendar, which is July 25th. Okay. And we called that one too. Because he turned around and he what? Denounced the doctrine of discovery 44 days after the lecture that I did that said that the only thing that would be permissible is if they denounce the doctrine of discovery. And he did this shit. And I was surprised. But he did it. So when we make these connections and we lock into these algorithms, we have the ability to use our imagination, our imaginarium, because I'm all in my imagination with this. Right? But I'll be damned if they don't be landing. Here goes the half stats for the game. Okay. In the first half of the Super Bowl on February 8th, Cooper Kupp led the Seattle Seahawks with 4 catches for 44 yards. Right. And then they ended the game with a 44-yard interception, and that ended the game for all. Okay. Again, I as promised that I said we will be able to deliver victory and explain why. And I would hope that if people are not betting with their favorite teams, but betting with the concept that these particular teams represent ideologies, that you would go with the indigenous, right, motifs, not owners and shit like that, because that's a trick bag. And as Brother Rich said, Michael is a brother that is echoing during this particular time, and rightfully so. The Michael movie is coming out, but there will be no Super Bowl if it wasn't for Michael. The Super Bowl is because of Michael. Because why? Because Living Color, like TPSU was trying to do with the Super Bowl this year, Living Color successfully did that for Fox, right? And they took all of the viewership from the Super Bowl because Living Color had an alternative Super Bowl for Fox, okay? And what did they have to do the next year? The NFL when it got Michael Jackson, and the rest is history, okay? So he changes the Super Bowl, then his sister comes and changes the Super Bowl. And as a result of Nipplegate, we on YouTube today. See how that works? So our good brother, Mikhail, what does Mikhail stand for? The Archangel Michael is a protector of soldiers, protector of children, and protector of police, right? He is the one who vanquishes the devil. Michael leads the legions, okay? If there is to be a quote unquote a second coming or Armageddon or any of those things, Michael is the one that initially leads the charge, so they say, okay? And I think that is going to conclude, my presentation. Again, like I said, shout out to my good brother, Red Pill. Me and him, we did Win in Rome, MAGA Fest Destiny in New Orleans last year tomorrow, a year to the date. And it's amazing to be standing in the results of it and getting the opportunity to share it with you guys. So peace.
Indeed. Blue, you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome presentation, my brother. Awesome presentation. Let's get in. How do I get this? Let's get into some questions from the family in the chat. Yes. I wanna touch on real quick. Wait, hold up. Give me some questions in the chat. I want to touch on real quick. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah. Michael Jackson, man.
Yes.
It seems like Michael Jackson versus Hollywood. Michael Jackson versus the small hats. Now it's Michael Jackson versus the pedophiles. What's your thought on? I'm even hearing Oprah name tied into the Epstein files, saying that her school in South Africa was used for grooming, things of that nature. I know she had some type of disdain for Michael, where she played his friend while he was alive. As soon as he passed away, she dog walked him. And I thought that was real dirty and low down, because you could tell in their interview when she had him on, like he looked at her like a friend. Do you think Michael, the entity known as Michael Jackson, still watches over this realm?
Absolutely.
So his mission is not complete.
Um, when I did the research on the Archangel Michael has two characteristics that are identical to our brother. And
Yeah,
even further, because I went into the Ethiopian Bible and I was researching Mikhail. Mikhail had four brothers, right? He had four brothers. And when you look at the picture that they show you in the Ethiopian Bible of Mikhail, he looks like Mike in his booking picture in his, when he did the mugshot.
right.
Saying so the thing that was said about the Archangel Michael, that said the people would love him, then they would hate him, then they would love him again. The thing that they said about the Archangel Michael is that he would protect children and get misconstrued about his relationship and connection to children. Everything that they said about this entity Michael represent this other entity Michael, they said would change from black to white. He did all that. So we know on some Peter Pan-ish that if he was, again, the ancestral motif or the manifestation of the angelic form of Mikhail energy, and he qualified the role, he checked all of the boxes, he has to still be here because he leads the legions, right? So this year of quote unquote, we are in the month of Aquarius, the season of Aquarius. Aquarius is we the people, it's revolution. We'll also include on Aquarius until 2044. So we know during the season of revolution, which will be the spring and the summer, Michael, when the movie comes out, yes, it's going to ignite the people. Again, my thing that I go for, that if I can feel, I can heal. And if I could feel, then it's real. Because I'm sentient. When I saw that trailer for the movie Michael, I got goosebumps. I would not be here if not for Michael. I left my job at Epic Records on June 26, 2009, the day after Michael transitioned. I walked away from an executive position at Epic Records and vowed never to go in there, went to Harlem, showed my brother how to upload videos to YouTube, and the rest is history. That's my story. So I'm not connected to Michael. Check. Long as I'm here, Michael here. You feel me? But no, Michael is here because the children are being born and requesting Michael. The children are being born knowing Michael music. The children are being born, and that's all they want to listen to is Michael. Mike, the reign of Mike has just begun.
Yo, I used to hear all the time about the young children requesting Michael and listening to Michael, and I didn't know if it was an exaggeration on the internet until my son, when he hit about, let me see, he's 7 now. When he hit about 5, out of nowhere, he just started liking Michael. I'm like, he heard one song and it was a rap, man. He moonwalking, he's doing. I'm like, they're not lying.
Yeah, and I want to qualify myself real quick because I'm so cool with being emotional these days, right? And it don't thwart my masculinity at all. It's just that I had the ability to tell my truth makes me more whole than ever. So when I was 13, I was having identity issues because everybody that was around us and our friends was going to church. And I felt like an outcast, like I felt for the first time I felt peer pressure. I had not felt peer pressure prior to that. And I was like, I asked my father's an avowed atheist, right? I said, yo, what you think about church? He's like, I don't think about church. And he was like, why are you asking? And I explained to him what was going on. And he was like, go find out for yourself. And I remember being conflicted, and I remember listening, and this one I heard Man in the Mirror from Michael Jackson. And I said, if Mike can be who Mike is, right? I never heard Mike say Jesus. And Mike said, he said that his salvation was the man in the mirror. So at the age of 13, I learned accountability vicariously through a Michael Jackson song. That's the power of music, right? That it helped buoyancy me, where even when I went to church, I got kicked out the first time and I knew that it wasn't for me. and I ain't feel no way. And now I'm a pope. So yeah, man, Michael Jackson, bro. And thank you to thank you YouTube, right? Thank you Janet Jackson and the YouTube gods, right? Thank you Janet Jackson and the YouTube gods because they gave me back Know the Ledge Media. And Know the Ledge Media once again starts the summer of 2009 when we was on 125th in Harlem. Those very first videos when we were vending from 9 a.m. to 3:30 a.m. in front of the Apollo with thousands of people that came to Harlem to celebrate Michael Jackson. And we were the frontline defense for his narrative with the camera capturing people's story. This when new media started because old media, legacy media, was killing Michael. Oh, my bad. They was composting him. They was unaliving him on mainstream media. His name, they was dragging it through. They was doing, bro. They was doing him dirty. And the only place that we were hearing the stories that we wanted to hear to fulfill our spirit was amongst one another. But then we had these cameras with us, and we was able to put it on this thing called the internet and this thing called YouTube. Right. And then community got born out of that. So Michael has given me life on top of life on top of life. I owe it to him to not judge, because that's the test here. I owe it to him to pass my test. Indeed. You know what I'm saying? I owe it to him to hold the light in the belief that yes, Michael will return.
What do you think about this question right here on the screen, Blue? So let's talk about how MJ was trying to save the children on that island. That's why he created Neverland Ranch. There's so many TikTok videos, Instagram videos saying, according to the Epstein files, that was the reason why Neverland Ranch was around. It was an escape for children where they wouldn't have to. They mentioned Macaulay Culkin, how he always gave Mike props for saving him from Hollywood. They mentioned how Mike tried to save Britney Spears. What's your thoughts on these videos surfacing right now?
My thoughts coincide with everything that I was just saying about the fact that Mike's mandate was to fulfill the job of the Archangel Michael under the personage of Michael Jackson. And the job of the Archangel is a job that's bigger than life itself, and only Mike can do it. And that job was to save children in the midst of vultures, right? In the midst of, you know, I mean, there was literally articles in California and LA about them finding reptilian caverns and catacombs underneath the Hollywood Hills in the early 1900s. So I'm of no illusion. I've had my own experiences in those hills. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's not right that's out there, energy wise, but entity wise too. And he knew it. Who else could do it but him? So he becomes a rest haven and a safe haven for children, for them not to get what either happened to him or he was able to escape from. Either or, he knew that it existed and he wasn't naive to that. He was very adamant about creating a safe haven and a protectorate. And I think that the way that he did it was brilliant. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to be learning things about Mike forever. Sabi came back and told us things about Mike that still blow me away. He's like, Mike got a deep voice. He said Mike smoked weed. He said Mike smoked weed.
Yeah. Yo,
so yeah.
Yeah, wow. Just every time you mention, we talk about Mike, it could get real deep. Let's get to a question in the chat. They want to know, how do you feel about the Bad Bunny halftime show, Blue?
Again, and I'm gonna be honest, right? Because I was honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with the family. I went Unity. I felt left out yesterday though, and for the very first time in a long time, I got put in a different position to see reality from a perspective that I was not used to. And I was like, what is this? Like, I don't feel included. I don't know what's being said. I want to be in on the jokes. You know what I'm saying? But visually, what I was seeing, I was like, oh, they're gonna take them to the marshes. So this is what people do after the sugar plantation. Oh, but this is family. Oh, but this is life. Oh, but y'all still are able to have fun even in these conditions. Oh, this is what humanity looked like. So I was left to just visually make observations. And once again, we are in the month of Aquarius, and Aquarius deals with alternative energy. So, and I already know that he's an advocate for that community. And I already know that I seen him do things that's super questionable. So I seen something that they slipped in, like they cut your footage and slipped something in it. So I had seen them slip in something, but I'm just like, and they in Seattle, bro. You know how liberal these places. I'm like, this is the reality of this country that we live in, and we are very uncomfortable with reality right now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, I felt a little uncomfortable. I had a Black MAGA moment for 1 second.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the halftime show, and I'm a music producer, but I'm sure the language had a lot to do with it, but just energy wise, I didn't feel the energy in the performance as well. What's interesting, Blue, before I forget, because we left the topic of MJ. They say, I think the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said MJ offered him a piece of Sony's publishing. You never heard that? Yeah, he said MJ offered him. Yeah, they offered him a piece. Because he wanted to piss Sony off, and Minister Farrakhan declined. He was like, "Nah, I can't do that to you." Farrakhan is that brother. There's not a lot of people built like him. He does a lot of real things. A lot of things he moves with integrity. That's what I'm trying to say. He had a damaging picture of Obama with him and Obama like shaking hands or hugging or something like that. And the whole 8 years Obama was in the office, he didn't release it. He didn't let nobody see it. Even when Obama came in, he dogged the shit out of Farrakhan because he had to distance himself from Farrakhan. Yeah. Farrakhan said he understood it, and he did not release that photo because he knew what it would do to Obama. Now, niggas out here, they would, for clout, you know what a nigga would do for clout? Man, they would have sold that photo to TMZ for $1.5 million, man. But shout out, I always got to give a shout out to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Okay.
Always. Yeah. And shout out to Farrakhan, you know what I mean, and what he represents and the integrity that he has been able to display. And once again, Farrakhan is being proven right. We maybe we'll do a show where we exonerate everyone that needs the exoneration so we can release it. Yeah. And that's what they have in common, that Michael Jackson cast the first stone. I can't think of anyone in mainstream who went yay before Mike did, because Farrakhan wasn't in mainstream per se. Right. You know what I mean? Mike went totally left and he paid the price for it. He told you who them folks was. And I'm like, how more explicit can you get? He went as low as you can go in his name calling of them and his caricature of them. And he didn't mince his words, nor did he stutter. He said devil. Right? So imagine what he's seen. Imagine what he may know. And he was in them circles. He was running with the elites of the elites. So he fell back. And again, with his cunning militaristic maneuvering mentally, he was able to create a safe haven, you know what I'm saying, and a protectorate, and do as best he can to shuttle the children into safety. And then he got tagged and bagged perceptually wise. And then I seen the video, and they said that when they was pointing attention to his ranch, it was the same time they was just finding out about the island. It was a deflection tactic. But again, it's the same people. So the same people that Farrakhan is talking about is the same people that Michael is talking about, is the same people that we talking about today, connected to them people over there, right? That we can't unfortunately talk about to this day. They don't get by us.
Yeah, yeah.
I got like a scar after that, man. Yeah, it was.
Oh no. Let's
That's that's wild.
yeah, yeah, indeed.
A
Let's
lot of concordance.
keep this thing going. This is a real good show, y'all. Y'all gonna have to play this one back. I seen somebody ask this a couple of times. They want to know, what did you think of the Marshawn Lynch commercial right after the Super Bowl? I did not see that, so I don't know. Did you touch on? Is that the one you touched on already? No, right?
I didn't see that either.
Okay.
Only with him, I seen him jumping out the plane. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. All right. Let's see. Let's see. There was one I seen. It's way up here. Yeah, shout out to Stephanie Mills. I see y'all talking about her. Yeah, I heard about that story with Stephanie Mills. And I am trying to get an interview with the minister. He's up there in age, so you know he's relaxing right now. But that's something. That's a dream come. That's a dream come true for me to interview the minister. So yeah, just y'all put that out there for me in the ethers. You know. What did you think about? Well, yeah, I'm trying to give y'all an opportunity to ask some questions. Somebody said, "Where's Sister Myra Morse?" She chilling. Myra Morse is chilling. She's doing good. She's chilling. Somebody said, "Do you guys think that is why Chris Tucker leaned on Michael so much?"
Um, Chris Tucker had a difficult time in the industry as well, adjusting. They said, according to the narratives.
Mhm.
So I would imagine, yeah, they might have had a good relationship because they had an integral leaning. Chris Tucker wasn't willing to do certain things, they said, and that kind of stymied his career. So
Mhm.
yeah. They're both August Virgos. That there you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Somebody said, have y'all been the real false prophets misleading the people from their true selves? No, we have not been. No,
Nah,
no. Sorry, wrong group.
sorry.
Let's see. Why did I assume they're saying MJ go through all those physical appearance changes? A lot of Michael questions.
Again, the prophecy of the Archangel Michael is that he would change his appearance.
Mm,
So it was in line with the prophecy of Michael,
mhm.
and um yeah, these are the accounts that I read, the Coptic accounts of the Archangel Michael, and it said that's what it said that he would do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, let's keep this thing going. Uh, there was one earlier. Okay, yeah. Can you tell me about the deity Sambo? Bobby used to talk about that
Yeah.
deity. Damn it.
Bobby used to speak about Sambo.
That's Ankle Watch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was, I think Sambo almost was like associated somewhat to the drunken monkey aspect, or what they call Hanuman. He Sambo was a jovial aspect of a deity or entity. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Indeed. That I wonder if that I remember Bobby put us on the Africans in Asia. Is that on YouTube, Blue?
I don't know if it's still up there. It might be on Serious Times though.
Yeah. That was a real good one, man. That was a real good one. Okay, let's keep this thing going. Somebody said, any advice on relationships? Should young men date older women? This is a whole different topic, but
Should young men date older
older
women?
women.
That's all contingent upon, I can't give you a general answer for that. Are you a mature young man, or are you a young man looking for a mother? You know what I'm saying? Because there's a difference. Um, and only you can answer that. If you're a young man looking for a mother, I wouldn't necessarily represent it. But if you're a young man of a mature age and you think that something that's more acclimated towards your speed would be represented in an older woman, and you got something to give and something to learn, go for it.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Somebody said, what is the truth about Michael and the drugs that killed him?
Mike, and then this is also something that we have to understand about Mike and the propensity of these certain lights on the planet that do unimaginable things. So in his case, right, speaking about the energy of Neptune, he was able to say the amount of medication that he took was enough to lay an elephant out.
Mm.
And he was taking it day and night. The amount of dope that was in this particular medication, it was super extreme. And they said he had taken this every single day. He had been on meds since he got his injury under his scalp. So his bandwidth, his ability to hold light and to hold form must have been so extreme. Yes, and he wasn't asleep, so he was sleep deprived. If anyone seen the documentary, This Is It, then you can almost get like a backstage account of what it was in his last days, and they even show you some footage, of his setup bedside, and it was crazy. So he was getting inundated with some of the most heaviest stuff, but he held on as long as he could till he couldn't anymore.
Yeah, man. Um, yeah, like somebody said the doctor. Yeah, I heard about that doctor. What you think about that doctor that he was messing with? Blue, the black dude.
Yeah, Dr. Conrad, he got caught up with that, but I think that Dr. Conrad was definitely, a patsy. I think that we know who reached out and touched them. You know what I'm saying? And that's their signature.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll always use the interface. But dude came back later. He got interviews where he's like, "Nah, it wasn't me. Like, I did this part, but I ain't do that part." You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
I think that he was compromised.
Somebody said, what is the mysticism with the island Grenada? His doctor was from there, the one who drugged him up.
Yeah, he was Grenadian, and Grenada is the island of spice. So I don't know if it's if he was putting together spice cocktails, but and again, because like a lot of the things that I know about this particular doctor is because he had a lot of shame amongst his community. You feel me? And he had to speak on certain things. So there's numerous accounts of him saying what he did and what he didn't do, and his people have held him accountable.
Yo, they want to know if you listen to the Fall Off, Blue. You listen to J. Cole?
Yes, I did.
What's your thoughts, Blue? I listened to some of it, not all of it. What's your thoughts?
This is deep, and this goes into something else. But J. Cole's inability to have a real nigga experience.
Oh man.
um, there's just certain things that you're not going to extract from the experience if you're not totally tapped in to certain elements of it to extract what's needed to extract when you need to extract it. So he can't go into a conscious bag. He can't go into the fifth element. It's very shallow. He could only swim in the shallowest of waters when it goes there. So when we're looking for him to snap, when we're looking for him to leave the building, he's not able to. So we get a lot of regenerative stories about the hood that's told through other people's eyes, like, oh, it was so tough here, and it's like, how many times have we heard this? And was that your reality, or does that have to be your reality for you to be authenticated to say that you're the best? You know what I'm saying? I don't get the pain that you're trying to sell me. And your selling point, we can't be tethered to one another just because you come from a broken home. That's not Black culture. You see what I'm saying? So, and it's the same thing that happened with Drake. When it's time for you to go into a bag, your bag contains milk. You can't go into that mitochondrial bag. Right? You told me that you are who your mama is. And I had to sit with that and think about it, and think about our mitochondrial connections. And there's certain things that you have to embrace. And hip hop is out of place. This nation is out of place. These artists are out of place, where they don't want to embrace the things that's necessary for them to be the king of their hill. You can't be the king of my hill. Funny enough, right? He's talking about the hill all the time. So I think that, you know, it was an incredible display of lyrical artistry, but if he was really able to go into his vein of pain, could have did that in 8 or 10 songs for us.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. They said, could Blue elaborate on the esoteric ideas on the twins, Michael and Lucifer, even connection with the Twin Towers?
Again, Michael as an archangel and Lucifer as an archangel would almost be paramount in terms of their ability. When the story is said that they're supposed to clash, they're supposed to be equals. So they're the ones that's supposed to be doing the clashing according to the narrative. I can't necessarily say what I know that their connection directly to the Twin Towers is, though. I'm not going to reach with that. If you know, if the person wants to give me more context to what they mean by that, then I could probably elaborate, but I just don't want to start freestyling. Thank you. You there? Brother Rich, peace.
Pardon me, Blue. Pardon me. Okay. Any significance? And we're gonna do 3 more questions, then we're gonna get out of here, family. I know Blue don't stay up too late. Any significance to Mike Glove in naming his signature move the moonwalk? He got that from another brother, Blue, the moonwalk.
He definitely got it. Yeah. He got it from a melanated brother. I forget his name. He was a pop locker.
Jeffrey Daniel, I think, or
and then
think
it might have been his name. The brother, he borrowed the moonwalk from the brother. The brother had showed it to him.
He taught him. Yep.
He taught him. He you know, because he was, once again, because he wasn't directly in the mud of the roots, he would get people that would bring the source to him. He would get the people, you know what I'm saying, that would come and show him, this is what we doing here. This is what we doing on the soil. You know what I mean? He would tap in that way, and he would attempt to stay relevant and current with what the trends are or what the people were doing. That's how he would learn. But he wasn't going to the club. He wasn't coming down to the spot. You know what I mean? He had to find a way to connect and then take it to larger stages and execute the way that he did, you know, with the moonwalk. And now he made it his signature move. And that a Virgo is going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they like, you know, they be like, yo, son is better at this than Mike. Son can do this better. And granted, but Mike is the greatest performer of all times for a reason. You know what I'm saying? He got the stage, he got the platform, and he executes um in precision. So the way that we were introduced to the moonwalk, it was a flawless execution.
Mm.
So everything that happens with that is iconic. The socks become iconic. The loafers become iconic. The drip in the hair, you know what I mean? Everything gets crystallized in that moment, and
Yeah.
these moments become framed forever. Um, so yeah, Mike was just, whew, yeah, different, man.
Mm. All right. Let's a lot of mic questions. So that mic energy is heavy in here. A lot of mic questions.
Love MJ.
Yeah. Um Somebody want to know what's your max on bench press? Weights, Blue.
Um, three something. I hit a max last week. I'll add it up right here. See what that is. I think they said it was 315, 315 or something like that. 6 times 45 plus 45. Yeah, 315.
Okay. Blue got 315 on it.
Yeah.
All right. Two more questions. Can you speak on Leviathan? I know you heard about the dragon in the water and it awakening at this time. What's your thoughts on that, Blue?
Again, I will make the connection to that, to Neptune and Aries. Anything that happens in the subterranean realms of the ocean, anything that deals with the subconscious rising or coming up, you know what I'm saying? That is always dealing with Leviathan, Neptunian energy. So I would just make that connection. You know, those are the times that we're in, as they would say, release the Kraken.
Right. Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting, and I had did the knowledge to this earlier. Neptune and Pisces. I mean, Neptune and Aries. So Neptune is the subconscious, and Aries is the self. So that's being conscious or aware of self. So that's the conscious and the subconscious. So we are in this pinnacle point in time where yes, things are gonna submerge from deep, and things are gonna come down low. We're gonna get downloads from on high. And you are the fulcrum point here on this plane of existence that has to alchemize this energy, that has to make sense of it all. Because regardless of whatever's happening, it's happening around you. You know what I'm saying? And you are impacting it. So, yeah.
Indeed, indeed. All right, let's we'll do one more, then we're gonna get out of here. Let's see. They want to know, do you think the industry got to Andre 3000?
I have friends that are friends with our good brother, and how can I best say this? Hollywood is different, y'all, and what you're seeing today, right? What you're seeing today is exactly what it is, and there's no regard for, oh, you know how to rhyme, or oh, you nice on the mic, or you the man, where you from. You know what I'm saying? It's a fraternity, and when you get there, you get broken into that fraternity, especially if you come there with an ego and you think that you're someone, right? Amongst people who just look at you as a source of energy, they look at you as food. You know what I'm saying? Or food source, should I say? you know, and there's something about your energy that they want to feast off of. There's something, that you may be potentially naive to or about that they may not necessarily be. So he was not protected in that realm, and it made him very uncomfortable and thrown off by the industry when he actually saw what was behind the curtain. I'll leave it at that.
Damn, I had the mic. Sorry, I had the mic on mute. Blue, leave your contact information. I'm gonna put the link to this Eventbrite that you're
Yes,
doing in the description, but let the people know what's going on, Blue.
yes. Again, shout out to the family. Once again, thank you to everyone in the audience
Right.
for paying attention to our dissertation, my imaginarium. You know what I'm saying? The way that we make sense of this world and this reality that we live in. Me and my twin brother Red Pill will be doing a full scale demonstration and dissertation of a bunch of situations that are taking place across the nation on February 15th, exclusively on Eventbrite. I got footage, I got things that I would love to share that I can't necessarily do on YouTube. And yeah, that Eventbrite, that link will be in the description. If you follow me on Instagram or any of the socials at Blue Pillar 44, the link will be in my bio. You can access it through our the KTL Media,
Mhm.
right, and all the Red Pill socials as well. But when in Rome, the Edge of Apocalypse, that's going to be exclusively on Eventbrite on February 15th. That's a Sunday, next Sunday at 8 p.m. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing you in the audience, family. We look forward to sharing with you this information. Um, on or around February 13th, I should be dropping a live link to Farmy, which is our micro farming. Again, I got to do my first Farmy market set up yesterday, and we sold out of the tea, we sold out of the microgreens. I'm waiting on some more um, gourmet shrooms to pop out. We we just became a distributor of buckwheat honey, which is the highest antioxidant honey on the planet, stronger than manuka. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting. We are in exciting times, and I cannot wait to share this excitement with your family. All right. But I look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday the 15th via the Eventbrite. Appreciate you. Peace, love, and light. Until we meet again, y'all.
Peace, Blue.
Honest.
Excellent presentation, my brother.
Thank you. Peace,
All
God.
right. Peace, brother. All right. Shout out to the brother Blue Pill. I just put the link for Blue Pill up in the chat. So if y'all want to support the brother Eventbrite this Sunday, you can click on that link in the chat. All right. Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, definitely. Good one. They said good one this evening. Definitely a good one this evening. Just real quick, I won't be live tomorrow, but Dr. B Serious will be live on Wednesday. So I might do an afternoon show tomorrow. I'm not sure, but Dr. B got an amazing presentation that he will be doing on Wednesday night. So y'all can tune in Wednesday night for that. All right, family. Make sure y'all tune in Wednesday night for that. Shout out to I see Red in the chat. Shout out to the brother Red Pill in the chat. I was just watching our Red Pill show the other day. Red Pill be mad. Damn, he be showing them receipts on Epstein's Island, man. Red Pill be showing them receipts, and I'll be like, he be having me glued to the screen. But he's really exposing what's going on. So shout out to the brother Red Pill. The link, they said, Brother Rich, can you drop the link for the cigars? I always forget to put that up earlier because I played the commercial earlier. I should have put it up earlier. Where is it? Okay. Yeah, Mama Kali. I just this is the link for the cigars, y'all. Listen, man, if you want your intention to turn into vapor and have instant communication. And of course, we already have communication with the spirit realm and our ancestors, but we put the plants down here on this realm for a reason, to assist us in a lot of things. And the plants are not our enemies, and they want us to use them, in a sense. I'm not going to say sometimes the vegans, they be saying, like, the vegans, when they eat the food, the plants have a defense that could harm you, like the Dr. B talked about the kale and the what's it called, the man, I forget what that word is, leptins or some shit like that. I'm not sure, but tobacco wants to be utilized, man. It's a beautiful experience, and it's part of our rich history all across the Americas, South America, North America, Mexico. We was all over the place. It's such a lectins, lectins with the with the kale, but it's such a rich history. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing. Somebody said, Brother Rich, my cigar is dry and unraveling. What do you suggest? I wonder how dry it is. You can send me a picture. You can email me, send me a picture, see what's going on. How long did you have it? How long did you have it sitting around? When did you get it? But you can send me. Did you take it out the plastic? But send me. I just put my email. You can send me a picture. Let me see what's going on. So tobacco is wrapped so much. Sometimes you could just take a small piece of it off and just continue to do what you do. But send me a picture and let me know when did you get it or whatever. Email me, and I'll look into the situation. But I shared once again, I shared the link. The tobacco changed my life forever. So I'm thankful that, I got introduced to it. It's beautiful. Like I said, 100% natural tobacco. It's donation based. So you could donate and you'll be gifted. It's like a gift I get, a gift to the people, but you could donate to that link right there. Once again, family, I just want to tell everybody that you can get the Bovita packs to prevent them from drying out also. Somebody she said, I stored it in the horseback doula said I stored it in a wooden box. I've had it for a couple of months. I think since October. Yeah. You know what the problem is? If you have it in a wooden box, you still supposed to have the Bovita packet in there to preserve it. Did you have a Bovita packet, or I forget what they call them, but it's Bovita, but there is another term for it. Maybe that's why it went bad. But yeah, October, that's a couple of months just for it to be in a wooden box. So maybe that's why. But you could Google and see if they give you some recommendations also. Yeah, I don't know about any good tobacco blunt wraps. I'm not really in the blunt game. I'm not a weed smoker, so I'm not. I smoke occasionally, but I just don't know that much about the whole, the whole weed thing. Humidor, the humidors, humidor packets. I got one. Let me show you how they look. I got one around somewhere. For those of you who are curious, they look like this. They're humidor packs, and it's a way to control the humidity for the cigars. That's how I keep the cigars fresh and keep them soft. If you buy cigars in the stores, you don't want it to be super hard. You want to be able to, squish it, whatever, a little bit. So so I keep these in the in my humidors. But this is a humidor pack. God, my plastics is falling out. But let me see what y'all talking about. I'm about to get out of here. Let me see what y'all talking about. Shout out to Kafunya in the building. I see Kafunya. Shout out to Monique, the whole New York crew. Kafunya, Monique, everybody out there in Brooklyn. King Simon is back in New York. Shout out to King Simon. Everybody out there in New York. I heard it's like so cold in New York. I heard it's like AA Rashid actually. I heard from a couple of people, and AA told me that he said it's freezing in New York. So, yeah, you like the mic stand? I appreciate it. You know, I usually have it lower so y'all can see it, but I don't have it low today. But shout out to the mic stand. Y'all seen it before. Shout out to the mic stand. Other than that, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Let me see. Somebody said, do you light them and place them on an altar or smoke the cigar with intention? You know, I've never placed a cigar on the altar yet. I haven't done that as of yet. Every one that I've had, I've smoked with intention. Yeah, every one I had, I've smoked with intention. Like every single one. It's just I've had such a good experience, such a good outcome. Even in this, you know, there's a science. Some of the coaches will tell you, indigenous coaches will tell you, even your thoughts, the way the smoke spirals out of your mouth, it shows how calm your state of mind is. If it's like a chaotic, it's going to be chaotic, but it's going to be geometrical at the same time. But you could tell your state of mind by how the smoke blows away from your body. It's hard to explain. You would just have to experience it. But having my body, I just had I'm having such a good time with smoking and so I'm just, you know, strictly doing that. But in the intention and the smoke, and you see your mouth adds moisture to the tobacco, moisture to the tobacco, and that moisture creates a little bit of vapor. So it's like you're seeing a lot of smoke, but it's a small percentage of vapor because of the moisture that's coming from your lungs and your breath. So it's like a combination of things, and it's like a perfect chemistry for technology. And I got a couple of videos that is going to break down the technology also. So I'm gonna show that to the family. I'm supposed to do a video on plant medicine, the plant kingdom, with the brother Ghost, and I'll probably have a couple of other people on there too. What is the channel for music making? I'm glad I was just thinking about that today. I'm gonna upload a beat making video next week. I'm gonna show people music theory and how to apply it. There's a lot of cool things I'm gonna be doing. Let me share. For those who don't know, I just started a music producer YouTube channel, and let me just share the link with y'all. Oh shit, hold up. Yeah, make sure y'all go subscribe so y'all could you know, get that music. Everything is music at a fundamental level. Somebody said Rich getting addicted. Nah, my intentions are too pure. It's not, you know, definitely not. But you know, I do want to. I would like to smoke one tonight. I ain't going front, but you know, I'm not gonna smoke one tonight. I've been Mondays is my day off from eating, so I'm not gonna smoke any. I'm not gonna smoke any tobacco either. But I have me a little something tomorrow. Oh, shout out, man. Shout out to the man of the hour, man. Mr. G with the donation. I appreciate it. He said it's freezing in Brooklyn. I saw super bad out here. Yo, this dude got the best product in the universe right now. The best tonic. He got the best tonic. This dude, man. I'm from New York, so I done drunk all the tonics. I done been to all the Caribbean juice bars, all the juice bars in Harlem and Brooklyn. This dude G got the best tonic in the world. It got over like 30 herbs in it. It is absolutely popping. Yo, we sold out, man. I'm proud of the brother. I'm proud of the brother. And this is not it's Mr. G's. This is like his family thing. But this is for the community. This is we're replacing the Monster drink, Gatorade. We're replacing all of that with Geefy tea. This is his special brand that his family creates, and there's nothing like it in the absolute world, family. It's absolutely. I was in Honduras and y'all see me drinking it, but when he gets it back in stock, man, y'all gotta get some. I mean, I've never, 700 bottles in 24 hours, in less than 24 hours. It's the people resonated. I put the message out there. Yeah, somebody said I got my 5 in the mail the other day. Loved them. And he got some surprises he's gonna do with the next batch for when people order 3 or more. Listen, G got some shit coming, man. All I'm gonna say is shout out to that man right there. He is doing his thing. Yeah, go to his website. Maybe if you type in that name, it'll come up. But yeah, it tells you everything it does on the website. But for me, like I said, it's like I immediately go in the flow state. It does so much for me. I could just go on and on and on and on and on. I feel more energized. My mind feels clearer. It's an amazing drink. So shout out to Mr. G. Shout out to my brother Mr. G. But everybody has got to try it. Every black person in the world, not just conscious in the world, needs to be put up on that. Somebody said the game was boring. Yeah, the game. I really didn't watch it. I probably watched like 1 minute of Bad Bunny's performance. I wasn't impressed at all. I just wasn't impressed at all. I'm not a big fan of reggaeton so much. None against it. I'm just not a big fan of reggaeton like that. I remember back in the day, my favorite back in the day, I don't know, too much about it. Maybe if I listen to more, but I remember back in the day when I was younger, the biggest one, that reggaeton record that I liked, that was popping, was the Gasolina. Who sung Gasolina? Anybody Hispanics, anybody in the reggaeton? Who sung Gasolina? And pardon my if I'm, using the wrong terms, but I don't know that much about the whole reggaeton thing. But who was it? Was that Daddy Yankee or the other? There was another dude that was Daddy Yankee. Yeah, Daddy Yankee. Yo, why he ain't bring out Daddy Yankee? Why didn't Bad Bunny bring out Daddy Yankee? Why didn't he bring out Daddy Yankee? I remember Don Omar. Yeah, I remember Don Omar. I like some of Don Omar's joints too back in the day. I remember Don Omar. But he touched on that song? He did? Maybe he did, because I thought they played the way they played it. I thought I heard it. The way they played it wasn't how they should have played it. That intro to Gasolina, and like something's rattling in the beginning, and then it just drops. Dulo, and I don't remember. Y'all gonna make me play it because I don't remember it. But that intro to Gasolina is so epic. If they would have did it the right way, he would have did it with the correct intro. And if he would have dropped that, so many older people could have resonated it along with the younger people. But I'm a producer, so I think about all that stuff. But somebody say love real reggae. Yeah, shout out to the culture of reggae. So I said I was Puerto Rico for a second. I'm crying. Everybody remember Gasolina. So that would have been if he would have did it the right way. And I don't know how he did it, but if he would have did it the right way, that song had a lot of energy. Gasolina had a lot more energy than any song I heard from Bad Bunny so far. So, but like I said, I don't listen to his music like that. So, maybe he got some good joints, but that's like my favorite joint I heard from the whole reggaeton thing. Shout out to Daddy Yankee, for that record right there. But yeah, like I said, Wednesday night, the website to the tonic, I don't know. G, you still there? What's the website? Because the website's not on the flyer. It's sold out though, but damn, I don't have the website in front of me. G somewhere. I don't know if G's still here. But yeah, I don't have it saved in my notes over here. Yeah. Yeah, but like I said, as soon as I hear he got him in stock or he's about to get him in stock, I will notify y'all. It's gonna go fast, y'all. It's gonna go. It's gonna be a 24-hour thing, and if you don't get it within 24 hours, it's a wrap, and you're gonna have to wait for another trip to Honduras, another month. So I will, as soon as I know, I'm alert the people. As soon as he knows, he'll alert me, and whatever. But it's one of them things where it's a cultural phenomenon. It's a phenomenon in our community, and it's one of them things that you got to get it the same day, or it's just a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. So, like I said, shout out to the brother with a phenomenal product. I think that this product is one of the products of the future. I really think that it's one of the products of the future. Moving into this new world, we got this new world where Mother Nature, we got this new world where people are using AI as advanced technology. And I use AI, but the real advanced technology that I'm tapping in with is Mother Nature. So I'm tapping in with Mother Nature at an all-time high right now. I'm so thankful. I'm using the cigars, I'm using the Geefy tea, I'm grounding more, a lot of different things. So yeah, Nuwani Geefy tea. This is the name of it. Nuwani, Nuwani Geefy tea, Guifiti. Yep. All right. Other than that, family, listen, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to Blue Pill once again. Absolutely amazing. And let me share the link one more time. Oh, no, that's for my music channel. Make sure if y'all are interested in music and beat making and producing, subscribe to my producer YouTube channel. Shout out to Red and Blue. We got a news music channel that we really need to get active with. That is going to be hip hop news oriented. But we got to take our culture back. We got to take our culture back. Music is our culture. Hip hop is our culture, and we must take it back from these corporate entities. And we're moving into a world where, we're getting a lot of assistance from the cosmic waters. All right. With that being said, listen, I'm getting out of here. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all Wednesday night. All right, family. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Before there was cigarettes, before there were brands, there was the leaf. Tobacco is one of the oldest forms of spirit communication known to humanity. Long before modern times, it was understood as a living messenger, a way for human intention to travel beyond the visible world and return with meaning. In the oldest traditions, tobacco was never a habit. It was a bridge, not something used to escape life, but something used to speak with it. Our ancestors knew breath as spirit itself, and smoke was breath-given form. When the leaf touched fire, it awakened. When guided by breath, it carried thought into the unseen. In that moment, intention became vapor, and prayer learned how to rise. It was never about getting high. It was about clarity, connection, making the invisible visible. That's the memory the leaf still carries. Radio Cigars.
Radio cigar. Radio cigar. Radio cigar.